On an emission intensity graph, it is set up as wavelength versus intensity. Intensity is the number of photons emitted at a certain wavelength relative to the total number of photons emitted. Wavelength represents the wavelength of the photon emitted, which determines the color of the photon emitted. The lambda max is the wavelength at which the electron emits the highest intensity when returning to the ground state of a previously excited atom. The color controls the lambda max because each color has a unique set of emission peaks on the emission intensity graph. The color determines both the lambda max and the various other peaks that may exist on the graph. At a given lambda max, multiple colors can exist because the lambda max only represents the peak or represents the highest peak within an emission spectrum, not including all of the lower peaks that contribute to the color of a substance. This can be seen in our data when both the red glow stick solution and the mixed glow stick solution have the same lambda max, but the mixed glow stick solution has a second peak at a lower wavelength, even though it still has the same lambda max as red at about 616 nanometers.
Electrons can be excited just as elevators are able to take people up to another floor. Elevators will go up and down to specific floors based on which button is pressed. Likewise, depending on the specific amount of energy added to the atom, the electron will jump to a specific amount of energy levels. Additionally, just like an elevator, electrons will not stop between floors or energy levels, as they require a specific quanta of energy to jump. This is why the peaks occur at specific wavelengths, because wavelengths are inversely proportional to energy. Electrons will not remain at the excited state and will turn to the ground state, causing an emission of light. This is like when an elevator returns to the bottom floor to pick up more people. In other words, the ground floor can be compared to that of an electron at its ground state. For the electron, it's more energetically favorable to be there, as the state requires the least amount of energy. Likewise, for the elevator, it's most likely to be on the ground floor, as that's where most of the people are.